looking at it from your perspective, you must be seeing, hundreds of CVs and they all look good. So how as a candidate can the candidate distinguish themselves from everybody else? Any thoughts on that, Naveed?
Yes, sure. And again, maybe some of my fellow HR leaders will disagree with me, but I find it's important as a candidate to demonstrate three behaviors when you are going through an interview process, whether it's virtual or face-to-face. By the way, it shouldn't really matter. But I find those three elements to be super helpful. First of all, it's the will. I really would, if I'm in that position and I'm looking for my next role, I really would want to come across as someone who's absolutely willing and motivated to do this job. And not just that, but to really be committed to be, doing this and whatever comes next. So sometimes you have those conversations with candidates, and you're really, feeling that there is no real hunger and drive to want this job. And that's never a good starting point. I mean, if your energy levels aren't high enough, Harsha, during the interview process, imagine once you've signed the contract and you're in your first month or month three, what the energy levels could look like. So really, you really want to bring that fresh kind of attitude towards the interview partners and the interview process per se. So will, I would say, is the first one. The second one is skill. And again, of course, there is a reason you have been invited to do the interview, but boy, how much better it is to really bring that to life during the interview process. So to show that you are competent enough to be able to do what the job would be asking you to do, and potentially more as well down the line. So really, it's about being able to speak to your strength and competencies. And of course, that comes with a degree of confidence. I don't think we should be too full of ourselves when we go into any process, whether it's the interview process or any other process, but really, being too shy and too humble. And, if I say imposter, kind of getting out, our gremlins getting out and really starting to whisper into our ears, you're really not that good, are you? That is never helpful. So I think, after will, skill is the other one, and you need to be able to really narrow that down. You need to be able to connect why what you have done previously directly connects with what the job is asking of any candidate to be doing. And so that's the other part. And of course, there's a fine art of, particularly at the more senior level, I would say you need to have your career narrative. It may not be as important if you're kind of more early in your career or maybe the middle stages, but towards the senior end, I would say it's really important that you're able to give your kind of career narrative over the next 60 or 90 seconds when they are asking you about it. And only then you start to demonstrate what competencies you have and how you might be linking them to the job. And then last but not least, so will and skill. And then the third one is the mindset. I can't overemphasize this aspect. The mindset, you can also call it attitude, is really, really crucial. I mean, I love to see when a candidate has done their homework, when they come to the interview and they really know a thing or two about this company. They have really, sometimes they research the interview partners if it's known to them who will be interviewing them. They are able to relate to the interview partners. Oh, I saw you studied international management. And by the way, this was one of the courses I actually wanted to study, but I ended up going down the economics route and this and that. So you're able to relate in the moment. You're able to demonstrate that you have the right attitude to be able to not only fit in, but to bring in something that ultimately matters to the conversation and to the role. And so, that would be kind of my 2 cents on this. It's the will, it's the skill, and it's the mindset that you should really bring to shine during the interview process.